In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.
Something pretty cool is coming April 4th of this year. There's going to be a total solar eclipse, and there are thousands of locations that are going to experience what they call totality. That's complete darkness from Mexico through the U.S. and right through Canada.
And right through Chatham, Kent. Yeah, we are included on this total eclipse path. Looking at a map, which Dave had found online, and I'm just looking at one right now. It's pretty much, it looks like anything that's south of the 401 through Chatham, Kent is going to be experience a total eclipse, like total darkness.
Yeah, the closer you are to the main line of it, from what I understand, it'll last longer. But then as long as you're within that path, again, here's the big thing though. Make sure you're protecting your eyes. I mean, you can look if it's completely blacked out, but why risk it?
Yeah, why? Don't risk it. It's not worth it. You never want to look directly at the sun. So to safely view the solar eclipse, you're going to have to use solar filters at all times. And you can get them online. You said you've already seen them on Amazon, and I'm sure local retailers will be carrying them too before you know it.
So there are places right across Ontario where you can see it. Point Pelee National Park is going to be the first location in mainland Canada to experience the totality.
Oh, I bet you there's going to be tons of people going to Point Pelee and also Pelee Island, I bet too, to go and experience this out in the middle of the lake.
And as you mentioned, points south of the 401, so you're talking about just outside of Tilbury, and then south, all the way down to the lake. So north and south, Buxton, Blenheim, Erio, Charing Cross, as I was looking at that map, are all going to be spots where you'll be able to really view it.
Yeah, including Blenheim too, just looking at Blenheim. Now, this is actually set to be the longest totality of a solar eclipse on land for over a decade. So that means there's going to be eclipse chasers from around the world coming along the path to go and watch it. So you might be seeing vehicles from all over the place coming into Chatham, Kent to check it out.
So Hamilton, Niagara region will also experience it, Kingston too. And then Long Point Provincial Park near Port Rowan, that's about 2 hours from Chatham. Next total eclipse on mainland North America won't be until 2044. So this is a pretty rare opportunity for you to experience this, maybe your kids, grandkids, that kind of thing too. Just again, keep in mind, protect your eyes. Yes, you can, if it's completely dark, look up. However, I wouldn't want to risk it because you don't know how long it's going to last. And then the next thing you know, the sun pops out and you're in a bad situation. So pretty cool that it's happening in this area. And all we have to do now, because it's April, fingers crossed for decent weather on top of it too, because you never know. If it's a completely cloudy day, you're not going to see a whole lot. The annual Consumer Electronics Show starts tomorrow in Las Vegas. That's when they usually unveil, the electronics of the future or things that are just on the cusp or just recently released.
And there's some interesting stuff this year at the show because they kind of do like a preview for the media. And the bathroom brand Kohler is pushing a new bidet that connects to Alexa or your Google Home for voice-activated butt washing.
So once, they does that, you can also ask her to turn on a drying feature to dry it off for you, too.
Why not? If you're asking her to wash your butt, you might as well ask her to dry it, too. Both features are offered on this new Pure Wash E930 model. Retails for the low price of just over $2,000. And it's not a full toilet. This is just the bidet seat itself. So you got to buy one of their toilets and then put the bidet on it. That costs $2,000.
Not a totally new feature. They already offer it in another smart toilet that came out a few years back, but it's supposed to be the more affordable version for everyone, I guess.
Well, so the toilet, the full Numi smart toilet, that's over $11,000.
However, it does have surround sound speakers.
How much time are you spending on your toilet that you could justify this?
Why do you need surround sound attached to the toilet?
Like, I don't know about you, but it's like, I want to make the bathroom as unappealing as possible so that your guests don't spend more time than they should be in there.
So, do you recall a few years back, we, during the pandemic, had a big Zoom get-together because we all traveled to Costa Rica, a whole bunch of us, Cheryl included, her sister, brother-in-law, a whole gang of people to celebrate our 20th, my wife and I's 20th anniversary. And one of the couples that came with us is a couple that we've known for a number of years. She's from Canada originally. He's from Luxembourg originally. And was still there at that point because he was trying to immigrate to Canada, which he's now finally been able to do. However, we were fascinated with the fact that he was staying at his parents at that point because he was getting closer to moving
Yep.
to Canada, and they had a bidet. And
We're like, show it to us.
I've never used a bidet before. And so we had so many questions. Does it come with hot water, cold water? What? And then your brother-in-law, who's an electrician, wanted to know the installation of all.
Well, and didn't it come out later that I think my sister and brother-in-law now have installed those, I think, bidets on a couple of the toilets in their house. Because the kids were always sneaking into their master bathroom to use their bathroom with the bidet. They used the toilet with the little bidet that they got off of Amazon or something.
I don't know that I've ever used one.
I don't think I have either. I remember going to Cuba and there being one in our hotel room, and we were like, "What is this?" Had no idea. I mean, because I was like 18 at the time.
It's a fancy drinking fountain. Delightful. I can just take a drink right out of the toilet.
Yum. Science.
It's not rocket science.
Check it out. I blinded us with science.
A team at Northwestern University made tiny little VR goggles for mice. And while you think, oh, that sounds like the cutest thing, and A and B, why would they do that? Well, they did it to see how they react when they think they're being attacked by a bird, which seems mean and terrifying, but they say it could help to find new ways to treat PTSD.
So there is a method to the madness. Mm-hmm. In electric car news, huge deposits of lithium were recently found at the bottom of the Salton Sea in California. Could be worth around $540 billion. Experts say it's actually enough lithium to make batteries for 382 million electric vehicles.
Why do I feel like they, if they don't already, are going to have hoses in the lake soon to be draining all of that? Mm-hmm. Did you and your mom have birthdays in the same month? A study found it's common. So when is your mom and your birthday?
No, I'm June and my mom is September, but my sister and my mom are both in September.
Interesting. So you're about 5% more likely to be born in the same month as your mom. Spouses are also about 4% more likely to share the same birth month. Not odd.
Interesting. Hey, you know, we're snacking a lot more. I mean, obviously, after the pandemic, people started snacking a lot. But we're snacking so much that we're pretty much eating an extra meal every day in terms of calories.
Wow.
This is according to researchers out of Ohio State. And they say the average person eats between 400 to 500 calories just from snacks alone. And these snacks you typically lack any sort of nutritional value, aka chips.
Hey, when I eat a bag of chips, there's some sort of nutrition in there. I'm positive.
So they say, if you are trying to, lose weight, if that's maybe one of your New Year's resolutions, maybe you should start planning your snacks the same way that you plan meals. Less thoughtless snacking.
Hey, do you or someone you know get panic attacks? Here's a doctor talking about how eating some sour candy can help.
A hack that's been going around, it's about popping a sour warhead at the first sign of anxiety or a panic attack. And as a doctor, I can tell you this actually works really well, and I've shared it with a lot of my patients. The act of consuming something intensely sour diverts the attention away from the panic attack. Then engaging the taste buds and focusing on the sensory experience disrupts the anxiety cycle. Interestingly, the sour taste triggers a physical response. That sour face expression that we all make and the muscles contract, well, that helps release tension. Then, as you all know, sour warheads are sweet at the end. This creates a pleasurable experience, signaling the brain to release dopamine, and that creates a positive, rewarding association with overcoming the panic attack. So, next time anxiety knocks on your door, don't panic, pop a sour candy instead.
Isn't that interesting? Now, if you're thinking, that sounds familiar, did you guys talk about that before? We did a few months ago. A therapist was telling people about the same thing, but now this doctor has come out to confirm it too, saying, yeah, I recommend this to my patients all the time.
Good to know that we have the sort of backing from a doctor that this is something that actually works.
So if there's someone in your life that suffers from a lot of anxiety or panic attacks, let them know sour candy is the go-to. You've been to Disney a few times, right?
Yeah.
Did you know there's something called the Disney Day Drinkers Club?
So I have seen some of these videos on TikTok and Instagram where people try to drink around the world at Epcot. Because I believe at, was it Magic Kingdom? Because there's multiple parks within Disney World, right? Magic Kingdom, I think, is the only place where you can't drink. Like, they only serve alcohol maybe in some of the sit-down restaurants. But the other parks, you can get drinks. And at Epcot, right, they have all the little pavilions for different countries around sort of a big water feature in the middle. And so people try to drink around the world.
Well, they're a little upset right now because their mascot, a trash can named Binny, recently got relocated. So the group is called the Disney Day Drinkers Club, or D3 for short, and that's what they do. They drink around the world. You might start with a margarita at the Mexican station, move on to a sangria, and so on. Actually, a former radio host from North Carolina founded the club. It now has over 86,000 members on Facebook.
But back to their mascot, the trash can named Benny. So he became the official mascot 2 years ago after someone who was, doing this realized the flat top on the garbage can was a good place to set your drink down. They like to joke that he's, quote, always trashed.
And by the way, you are allowed to do this there. This isn't something that people are trying to hide.
Yeah, no, like you go and you get your drink and then you can wander on to the next one. But club members are upset because the park apparently keeps moving Benny to different locations and they don't know where he is.
So he's always been in front of a bar called Rose and Crown, but last September they moved him across the street to stop people from lining up for pictures and blocking the bar's entrance. Club members, were pretty happy last month when he suddenly got moved back. Some even bought plane tickets to get a picture with him.
But before they got there, Epcot moved him again. So now the future of Benny and where he will live is still very much in the air. I think Disney should just embrace this and give him his own section. Mm-hmm. Like up on a pedestal where people can go and take photos and then have other like mini Bennies around for people to stand around and drink at.
I mean, you've got a group with 86,000 members and people coming from all over the world. Embrace that and bring in that revenue. What strange things has your dog ever eaten? You can text us or give us a call at 519-351-6300. Thinking about this because a couple in Pittsburgh, they ended up having to go through their dog's poop after it ate $4,000 in cash.
So the couple had gone to the bank to take out $4,000 because they had a new fence put in, I'm assuming, for the dog last month. And they had agreed to pay it in cash. So he went to the bank, got the $4,000, and less than 30 minutes later, the dog had eaten all of the money.
A 7-year-old golden doodle who they say normally doesn't chew stuff. But the stack of 50s and 100s, I guess, was a little too enticing.
And the good news is they managed to get most of it back. The bad news is how they got it back.
Yeah, they had to go through the dog's poop. Now, the bank told them, this happens, it's not uncommon, and that they'd replace any of the bills as long as the serial numbers were still visible. So they got to work. So he ended up yakking up some of the cash, but to get the rest, they had to wait for nature to do its course. They collected the half-digested bills, washed them, and looked for the serial numbers. So they said it was kind of like putting a puzzle together.
A very
disgusting
smelly puzzle. She said it smelled so bad, but after lots of work, they ended up with $3,550. So they lost $450 somehow. That got digested.
Well, they couldn't at least see the serial numbers. I guess those got washed off.
Cecil is going to be fine, by the way. They've already forgiven him, and they said going forward, they'll keep in mind he tends to have expensive tastes.
So we're wondering, what strange things has your dog eaten? When our golden retriever was a puppy, she once ate part of a dish rag that we'd thrown down the stairs towards the laundry room, but we should not have been lazy, probably me. And she got a hold of it, and then she was going to the bathroom, and my wife said, wait, there's something coming out. Yeah, she gently had to pull out like a long string of it. Thank God it didn't get caught in there around her intestines and whatnot, and then she was fine.
Well, because my dog, a couple months after I adopted him, had eaten some of those like foam Nerf popper balls and like Nerf darts from my nephews, and I had to take him to the emergency vet. And after some x-rays and some doggy X-Lax, he pooped it all out. And
did they come out like that?
To go. No.
Did they make that popping noise?
No, unfortunately not. It would have been more entertaining if it did. But then he also likes to chew like hard objects, like the plastic on, like he chewed up a DVD and the DVD case. Like there's teeth marks in the DVD. I can't play it anymore. He chewed on the DVD case, a coaster.
Maybe you didn't like the movie.
He took a plastic deodorant container and was had that in the yard. What was it? I thought it was a piece of bone. No, it was athletic tape. He'd stolen it out of my gym bag in my bedroom when I was asleep, apparently.
And not on that.
Yeah.
Diane texted us and said, my dog ate a piece of a blue balloon once. It came up blown up. True story. We've gotten a few other text messages, too, including one from Tiffany.
She said, my dog ate 7 pairs of my underwear and the crotch of most of my pants.
Wow. That's an expensive replacement for all of those. Angie said, my dog ate lunch meat, package and all. Vet visit and surgery, an expensive snack.
Oh, no.
I bet you my dog would do that. She's so food motivated. I'm sure if food fell on the floor, she would just go for it.
Nicole said she has a Shepherd Jack Russell, very funny looking, kind of like a corgi, ate the tip of her husband's fishing rod.
Oh, my God.
She said the dog was okay. Her husband was not.
All right, so we're looking for your stories about strange things your dog may have eaten. And this text message we just got in, may take the cake.
Now, she says they have a 9.5-month-old chocolate lab puppy, loves to chew, and she's eaten all of her toys, saying they don't make them any strong enough. Her food bin and all the food in it multiple times. Boots and shoes, coats and gloves, rugs, vertical hanging blinds, rocks, multiple dog beds, garbage, food off the counter, corners of the bench, and much more. And some of the gross things include the neighbor's dog poo. And she once came home from a field with a hunter's whole duck. Like one of those decoy ducks or a real duck, because either way, it's weird.
Wow. She went on to say, we love her, hoping that she will outgrow this. I don't know what you need to do. Maybe like stimulate the dog somehow in other ways? Distract them?
Shelby just texted to say when her dog was a puppy, she ate some Christmas ornaments. I was cleaning up sparkly poop in the spring when the snow melted.
Well, at least you know that everything went through. Julie just texted us too, said, I worked at an emergency animal hospital and there was a golden retriever about 7 months old. He ingested a chewed up plastic Christmas ornament. He had foreign body surgery and was just fine. However, he came back 1 week later to have another surgery to remove a large size wool sock that he'd also eaten.
Oh, man.
She said his name was Finnegan and I will never forget him.
The fact that 2 expensive surgeries in a week?
An impression? Wow. Hope you got pet insurance, my God. Often in life, you seem to hear stories about, well, it wasn't that person's time to go because right place, right time, there were people there to help them. In this case, it was 2 teenagers.
Yeah, 2 girls from Montreal, a 13-year-old by the name of Zoe and a 14-year-old by the name of Emma. They were both about to go ride their last wave while they were boogie boarding in Barbados last week when they heard a woman in the water crying for help. So the woman is from England, and apparently she told the Montreal teenagers her husband, Robert, was too far out in the ocean and was struggling to return to shore because I think there was a riptide he was caught in.
Well, here's the thing, though. Emma is a competitive swimmer with the Dorval Swim Club who is actually in Barbados on a 10-day training camp for the Olympic trials.
Yes, and the other one, Zoe, is also a very good swimmer. Her dad is the National Development Swim coach, so that's why she was there. Well, they saw Robert about 150 feet from shore struggling to stay afloat, so they swam out to him.
She told me that her husband was further out and he was struggling to swim.
The undertow that day was pretty strong, which I think both contributed to them being pulled out.
He was trying to swim, but we could tell that he was struggling.
It was a pretty long and tiring swim, I'd say.
I didn't want to show them that I was scared because that would make them even more worried about our safety and their own. We tried to stay as calm as we could.
So they say their instincts simply kicked in and they knew that swimming parallel to the shore in a strong current was the best way to save the man, because they had to save his wife first because she wasn't as far out, hadn't gotten pulled out as far.
Yeah, so they swam out on a boogie board, gave it to him, and then pulled him all the way back to the beach, but, had to do that thing where you swim parallel to the shore and then back in.
And that way they weren't fighting as hard against that current. And right place, right time, thanks to 2 Montreal teens.
You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.